This video is about the project called Medical Trapping. Now, because I put up a useful skill, this also makes it a little bit easier for me to point out that there's a lot of stuff I don't know. But because I work through the skill of working through the idea of possibility, probability, availability, likelihood, availability, effective and efficient, the idea does seem very efficient, does seem very effective. It is a possibility, and then I work down to probability. Well, is it likely? Can we actually do this? Yeah. Now, whether or not the resources, or even whether or not it actually is available as a tech at this point in time, I don't know. And whether or not it actually is likely such that within the medical science and biology science it actually does work, it looks like it does from what little I know. And that's the whole thing, is from what little I know, it does seem to be a feasible idea. But someone who's more educated in this area would actually point out yes or no if it does. And that's the thing, is to keep an open mind and think about it. Does it actually apply? And not just come off the cuff and say, no, you can't do that. Come on. Part of the idea about this stuff is to actually think about it. And even if parts of the idea seem wrong, does it actually seem to fit for some things? Now, with medical trapping, is a very simple idea that a lot of diseases attack the body. And a lot of our techniques that we use are offensive, meaning that they go in, this is more of a military type of sense in some ways when I'm using the word offensive, and attack directly the disease in certain ways. Well, medical trapping is more of a defensive aspect, is to better use your offensive capabilities to reduce the amount of targets you have to attack. The way this works, the way the idea is you craft a false cell, whether this be an actual biocell or if this is like some type of nanotech variation. I don't know. I'm probably looking more at the biomedical myself than nanotech, but two of the variations you can look at. And the idea is the disease vector that attacks usually attacks in a certain pattern. You know, it has a certain chemical twist that it uses to enter a cell, and then use that cell to produce more of itself. Well, the false cell has the same outside, so it has the same keys to be entered, but once the virus enters, there's no exit. There's nothing in there for it to use, there's no exit, there's nothing for it to use, it's a trap. And then, of course, you flush the false cells from the body. Well, that reduces the amount of the disease that you have to actually actively deal with. And that's sort of the whole point behind this, is because, especially with the way a lot of the tools that we're using to attack diseases are becoming a lot more aggressive, they also start damaging the terrain that they're on, the body itself. Well, what if you could reduce the actual amount of disease you have to attack and cause less damage to the body? That's sort of where this actually sort of came from. And so, yeah, basically, is you craft a trap, a false cell that the disease will then go and use or attack, and it serves as a distraction in some ways, or a capture of a lot of the disease, and such that you can then flush it without actually having to actively attack the disease. And then afterwards, when you have actually gotten a better field to attack on, you actually then attack the disease and have less damage to everything else around it, and you can more specifically attack that single disease. Oh, like I said, I'm going to need, of course, feedback on this, because there's a lot of this stuff that, looking at it, makes sense, but like I said, I have no educational background in the biosciences directly other than the basic background. And like I said, it seems feasible, seems effective, seems efficient, is possible, is probable. Likely, well, it would probably depend mostly on the technology, and of course that works also in the idea of availability, which of course then you can then test it and see if it's effective. Theoretically, looks effective, but then again, that's working with the very basic theories I have. Whether or not you can actually do this, I don't know. Like I said, I would need feedback from a biomedical perspective. And it's just an idea. Well, I hope I give someone something to think about, and like I said, see if it is feasible or not. I hope you have a beautiful day.